Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel. Once again, I'm Dr. Bobby Price, and today I'm going to give you 8 health check engine lights that most of you are ignoring. Okay. And then all of a sudden, when you have a major health event in your life, you're like, I never saw it coming. And it's so unusual for me because I'm aware of these 8 that I'm going to tell you, and there's many more. But if you know these 8, they can really help you. But I'm so aware of them that sometimes when I see people, I can see these things on people when they ask me questions like, hey, I'm having this issue. And what do you think it is? What should I do about it? And then I break it down, the check engine light. And they're like, oh, I've been having that problem for so long and I wonder what that was. And it's just like a check engine light. You get a check engine light on your car, the first hour or the first moment that you notice it, there's a little bit of anxiety. There's almost like, man, I need to take the car and get it checked out immediately. Okay. Whether it be the tires, you're thinking you're on the highway and you need to pull over because you don't want the tire to not have enough pressure in it and then it explode on the highway. So you're like, I need to get this taken care of. But then you just continue, you go to work and you're like, well, I'll get it done after work. And then after work, you're on your way home and you forget about it. And then you get in the driveway and you're like, damn, I forgot to get that pressure checked in the tire. And then you go throughout your day and you're like, I'm gonna do it in the morning, I'll leave early. But then you wake up late and the cycle goes on. And then before you know it, you just completely forget about it. That's exactly what happens with people's health. You recognize it at first, but then you forget about it. And then you get really comfortable. Okay. And then when you get so comfortable, you're like, all right, it'll be all right. It's not even a light. I mean, it's on, but I ain't had no problems. And then boom, one day you're driving and all you hear is blue, 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 blue. All right, so that is a health check engine light. All right, we're gonna go through 8 today. All right, and as soon as you start to recognize these, I'm trying to tell you, this is a part of becoming your own doctor, okay? You have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You can't depend on your doctor. Your doctor is dependent on you to tell you the symptoms. Tell him the symptoms or her the symptoms. If you don't tell them the proper way or you don't mention them, nobody knows. Nobody can help you. This is why it's up to you. All right, so I'm gonna give you 8. And what's most important before we jump into these 8, listen. If you want to be a part of what we're doing here, which is spreading the kind of information that helps people see health in a very different light, the kind of information that when you go into your doctor, you go in the hospital, you don't get this. And as a matter of fact, when your doctor, your pharmacist, your nurse are going through school, they don't get this. If you want to help me be a part of this revolution of spreading this knowledge, do me a favor, small favor. Hit the subscribe button if you already haven't. Share this with somebody because that's how we get the message out. And like this or don't like it. Either way, YouTube loves it that way. All right. Whether you like it or don't like it. All right. So do me that favor. Let's get into it. Number 1, a white coated tongue. All right. Next time you're in the mirror, I want you to stick out your tongue. I want you to look at it. All right. And what I want you to do is notice if it's pink or pale pink, or if it has like a slightly whitish tint to it, or if it's coated, almost like it's coated in a white mucus. All right. If you got a white coated tongue, more than likely you have a yeast overgrowth in your body. All right. And every day you're getting up, you're brushing your teeth, and you're just overlooking it. All right. Just like a check engine light. All right. This yeast can turn into a big problem. Not only a problem in terms of eventually converting itself into a yeast infection for women, or, jock itch, or, athlete's feet, or dandruff, itchy. Notice all these things itch. Notice all of these things are like a white coating to it as well too. So hugely important. All right, so check yourself before you wreck yourself. Next time you're in the mirror, stick out your tongue, look. If it is a slight white coating, then you need to address yeast, okay? And if it's overgrowing, it's not gonna not overgrow it's not gonna just stop overgrowing. It has to be addressed. I'll talk a little bit about how you can do that at the end. All right, number 2, skin issues. Skin issues are also a big one as well too. A big check engine light. Why? Because the skin is the largest organ in our body. Okay? Yes, the skin is an organ. All right? It's also the largest elimination organ, which means that it's one of the primary routes in how we get rid of waste, how we get rid of toxicity, mucus, and so many other things. Okay? Acidity. All right? So it's really important to understand when somebody's having a bad case of, let's say, psoriasis, all right? It feels like acid on the skin because it is acid coming out of the skin. All right. When somebody has a bad case of acne, it usually looks like mucus, okay, coming out of the acne when you pop those pimples, right? All right. So your skin is a big check engine light. This is why you should be checking your skin all the time. Checking for light spots, dark spots on certain areas of the body represent certain things. Certain bumps on certain areas of the body. Bumps along the jawline for women will sort of indicate, or men too, indicate hormonal imbalance. Bumps on the booty mean a thing too. All right. So it's really important to check your skin. As a matter of fact, when the skin gets dry, we know that we're dehydrated. All right. But also when the skin gets scaly or maybe these dark velvety patches, that's called acanthosis. That's a sign of insulin resistance, which means that you're on the brink of not only being diabetic, but being very poorly controlled diabetic, which leads to amputations, leads to kidney disease, leads to heart disease, leads to blindness, and so many other things. Okay, so you have to constantly check your skin. All right, and especially the areas that you don't always see. All right, check your back. Get somebody else to check your back. See if there's dark spots. See if there's liver spots. Check all of these things on your skin. All right, you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because before you know it, all of a sudden you got a lymphoma and you don't know where it came from. You're like, where did that come from? This little thing just moving all over my body that seems to be benign. But again, the skin is a check engine light. It's telling you something is going wrong. All right, so that's number two. The number two check engine light. Check out your skin constantly, and especially check the areas. If there's an irritation, if there's a dark or light spot, if there's a bump, if there's itchiness, all of these things mean something. Okay, hugely important. Number three, if you're constipated, actually, if you have less than 2 bowel movements a day, all right, if you eat 3 meals, you should have no less than 2 bowel movements a day. If you eat a meal, you should have at least a bowel movement a day. Yes, that's how that works. I'm always getting people who think that I'm crazy when I say I have a bowel movement for every meal that I have. And sometimes I will have 1 meal a day and still have 2 bowel movements. Okay? That is a big check engine light. The waste that ends up stacking up and accumulating inside of your gut that begins to rot, fester, ferment, that waste ends up coming out of your body. All right. Sometimes it comes up and you smell it in your breath. Sometimes it's very, it's coming out through your skin in a body odor. Okay. Sometimes it's coming out in the form of mucus. It's going to come out. All right. We're made to eliminate primarily, what we eat is supposed to come out at the end. All right. We're supposed to have a bowel movement. When you don't, and it begins to back up, it is going to cause big issues. Those issues can turn into polyps. It can turn up in the gut, all right, which is a huge issue. All right, often a sign of colon cancer, okay, or colorectal cancer, all right, a big sign, all right. It can turn into diverticulitis. It can turn into irritable bowel syndrome. It can turn into, dysbiosis in the gut as well too, okay, or SIBO. All right, so it's really important to understand, if you're not having the bowel movements, that's the check engine light that says, hey, something's off. All right, just not having a bowel movement is a check engine light in and of itself. Do not ignore that. All right, if you're like me, every morning you get up, which you should, when you wake up, your body has been detoxing and processing waste. So when you wake up, that's why you pee. That's why you urinate. If you're not doing that, that means something is wrong. Okay. And it also means that you're not getting rid of that waste. That waste is sitting there accumulating on top of each other. So if you have 3 meals a day, that's 21 meals in a week. Okay. Times 52. All right. Times 52 is 52 weeks in a year. All right. So if you only have let's say you only have a one bowel movement a day and you're having 3 meals. All right. Where's the other hundreds of meals? All right. So really, really important. That's number 3. Number 4, swelling and puffiness. All right. Swelling and puffiness. That's really important as well, too. That means that there's a flow issue. When there's a flow issue, this is a big issue. Our blood and vessels are like a river. They have to flow. All right. When they don't flow, this creates an issue. This could lead to blood clots. This could lead to heart attacks, strokes, aneurysms. It's really important to understand how important flow is in our bodies. This leads to also high blood pressure, so many issues. But most importantly, the check engine light that you often get that you don't recognize is the swelling and puffiness. Now, where are you looking for this? I'll tell you, the first place you should look at old pictures. All right. If you look at your old pictures, all right, and you notice, especially when you look at your face, that instead of having sort of a chiseled look where you can see your jawline and you can see your cheeks, now it's very puffy and round, and your neck doesn't have sort of a visible neckline. All right, which is big for me because when I started this journey 15 years ago, and I lost 50 pounds, all right, in the course of 3 months, I was able to see my neck for the first time in a very long time. So it's just really important to understand when you see puffiness under the eyes, okay, that's a sign that could be connected with your kidneys, but it also could be a deficiency as well too. Or just overall puffiness in your face, or not having a visible neckline, or puffiness or swelling in the ankles, in the feet, in the hands, in the lower legs. Yeah, these are the type of things that you want to say, all right, this is an issue. I need to address it. All right. Now, quite often, this could be because, you know, your blood is too thick, and your blood is too thick because your food is horrible. Okay. Or what you're drinking is horrible, or both of them. Okay. But that's a check engine light. That's not something to be overlooked. I see people overlook it all the time. And they just say, well, I'm aging a little bit and, I'm getting older. So like, I'm not going to look like my 18-year-old self. And no, we're not going to look 18 in our 40s. But we can still look very healthy in our 40s. And that's always the goal, or our 50s, or our 60s, or our 70s, or our 80s. Okay? When I'm in my 80s, I want to look like I'm in my 50s. All right? And I can only do that if the blood is constantly flowing in my body properly. All right. So that's number 4. Number 5, and I kind of mentioned this one earlier, but this is a check engine light too. Body odor, bad breath, foul smelling poo. Like when you have a bowel movement, like nobody can go in there. Like you don't even want to go in there, or you're in there having the bowel movement and you want to get out of there. That's a sign that your poop is rotting, festering, fermenting, and creating an environment that's conducive for everything that you don't want in your body, like parasites and yeast, okay, and bad bacteria, okay? That bad breath is a sign, okay, of what is going on in your gut and in your stomach. Hugely important. So don't overlook that, all right? Now, I know a lot of people say it's hard to smell your own breath, but I can tell you, your people will tell you when your breath smells, or your poop smells, or you have body odor. That's one thing nobody can escape. The body odor and the poop smell, you're gonna know that. You might skip out on the breath. Nobody else will, but you might not be able to smell your breath. But the poop and the body odor, those two you will know, and that is a check engine light. It's time to do a detox. All right. All right. It's time to do a detox. You've been on bad behavior. It's time to do a detox. Number 6, a shift in behavior, mood, and cognitive abilities. Now, what does this look like? A lack of motivation. All of a sudden, you used to be highly motivated and very intentional about your day, and now you just don't have that at all. Okay, you're easily irritated. Out of nowhere, you get depressed. I mean, you were having a good day and or a good last month, and then this month, the, the normal things that happened last month or the month before, they're now depressing to you. Okay, they're now creating anxiety. You're starting to be forgetful for no reason. I mean, simple things too, like people's names. Okay, or like maybe you're watching some basketball and you know the player's name, but you're like, why can't I recall them? Okay, or maybe it's a restaurant. Common things that you're forgetful about. That's a check engine light. All of a sudden, your energy takes a huge dip. That's a check engine light. All right. Behavior changes, like all of a sudden you become, keeping it real, promiscuous. All of a sudden, out of the blue, that's all you can think about. All right. That's a check engine light. Now, if that's how you are, that's how you are. But if all of a sudden your behavior goes from A to B, okay, that's a shift in something. It could be hormones, it could be parasites. There's a lot of parasites that, like flukes, liver flukes, when they get in your body or they get in your brain, they will actually change your behavior, and those type of parasites can make you promiscuous. Okay, so hugely important. Whenever you go from your baseline and you're totally the opposite, used to be high energy and now you're completely low energy. You used to be really nice and kind and now all of a sudden you're very mean to people. Okay, this is a big check engine light. It's time to check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right, these are the things that people kind of overlook, and then all of a sudden you see somebody in the late 40s or early 50s, all of a sudden you're getting diagnosed with early onset dementia. These are the things that people overlook. These are all things that take place here. Those were all of the check engine lights that were telling you we need to do something before you develop this dementia. Go into that dark place. Hugely important. Number 7, bloated belly. Especially around midday, like 11, 12, 1 o'clock. If you start to get a bloated belly around that time, every day, the same time, you wake up with a flat stomach and then by the midday, you got this bloated belly, that's a check engine light too. You probably either have parasites, a yeast overgrowth, or a gut imbalance, okay? A microbiome imbalance, okay? That is a check engine light. You want to take care of that as well too, because gut issues turn into real health issues. All disease and health starts in the gut. All right, both start right there in the gut. All right, all of these things. Go back to the skin, it started in the gut. Go back to that white coated tongue, it started in the gut. All right, hugely important. All right, and last but not least, check engine light, elevated blood pressure and elevated blood sugar. Now, you should know yourself. Like, I know what my blood pressure is, okay? And what I mean by that is, for many of you, you know that I was diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was 16 years old. It wasn't until I changed my lifestyle at 28 that I finally saw a normal blood pressure. The first time I saw a high blood pressure, it was high blood pressure, and it was my blood pressure, okay? Elevated means there's something wrong, okay? But you gotta know what your baseline is, okay? You gotta know what your baseline is. Most people don't know what their baseline is because they had, the first time they heard about high blood pressure or blood pressure, they had high blood pressure, okay? Same thing with blood sugar. Know what your baseline is so that in the future, if you see it start to rise, you can look back and think to yourself, what did I eat this week? And then it will be very clear what you ate this week that contributed to your high blood pressure or your high blood sugar. Hugely important. So those are 8. All right. Those are 8 check engine lights. What I want you to do is in the comments below. Tell me which one of these check engine lights was a big light bulb for you. Okay, which one of these you experienced and then you overlooked? Okay, which one of these that, which of the 8 today rang a big bell for you, and not only you, but probably somebody you love as well too. So again, if you have not hit that subscribe button, please also share this video. This is the kind of content that really can save somebody's life. This could save somebody from having a stroke, a heart attack, having diabetes. Okay, this could save somebody's life. Okay, so hit that subscribe button. Thank you. And hit that share button, and somebody else will thank you. Until the next time, peace and blessings and Godspeed. Oh, wait. I said I'm going to tell you about the white coated tongue, the skin issues. That's the detox. For those of you who have done my detox and noticed that after the detox, your tongue was pinker, okay, your skin was glowing, okay, the puffiness and the swelling and the inflammation went away, or the mood shifted, okay, the bloated belly got flatter, or the blood pressure or glucose improve and normalize, comment below so you can inspire some of these other people, all right? Until the next time, peace and blessing and Godspeed.